Hi, it's Kim, and today's video is all about one of the planners that is kind of new to my system. I've used this type of planner. I'm calling this my health and fitness journal slash tracker. I think I'll just stick with journal. So like my health and fitness journal. I've used something like a health journal in the past, and it really was just an A5 notebook, blank notebook that I just wrote down a few details or items in. I never needed anything that was more of a dated planner until now. So I did introduce this in my previous video discussing my 2023 planner lineup. If you haven't checked out that video, please do. There's a lot of good information in there, and it gives you an overview of all of the items that I have currently in my planner system. So this specific one is, like I said, my health and fitness tracker slash journal. Health and fitness journal. That's just what I'm going to call it. It's my health and fitness journal. And for this, I'm using a Hobonichi Weeks. So it is the regular size Hobonichi Weeks, not a mega. So it just has the standard 70 or so notes pages in the back, and it's set up in the typical Hobonichi Weeks fashion. And the cover that I have here, because I'm sure I'll get questions, is a VDS Codex. So this is just the regular Codex, again, not the mega. So it's made to house just the slimmer version of the Hobonichi Weeks. And this one I have is called the milk tea color, or milk tea version. I do really like it. I know people complain about the fact that it doesn't lay flat easily, and I'm okay with that. I'll show you kind of how I clip it down into the cover to kind of avoid that or help with that. So this is from Vanderspec. The outside is Janet Leather Black. The inside is Janet Leather Brown. I found this on the Buy Sell Trade group on Facebook, and almost as soon as it was posted, I swooped it up because it was an amazing price and it was completely unused. So here it is. I certainly didn't intend to purchase this kind of cover for my Hobonichi Weeks. I was just going to stick to a Moterm, but again, the price was just too good to pass up. And I am the kind of person who likes to have a cover for each of my planners. That's just me. That's just what I like. So before we get into the details on the inside, I will show you what I was talking about. So I do have an Ollie clip here, which is one of those magnetic paper clips, and I use this to, for instance, keep or clip down the book like that. It doesn't work, you know, super great, but it works well enough for my purposes. I am never in a situation where I need this to lay completely flat. I'm honestly never in a situation where I need any of my planners to lay completely flat, so this works for me. Also, this Codex does not have the big back pocket, if anyone was wondering. Alright, so let's get into it. I mentioned in that planner lineup video that I've been using this since mid-October, and I know this starts in 2023, so you may be wondering, how are you using it in October when these start in December? Well, here's how I was doing it. I tipped in, or yeah, well, not exactly tipped in. I glued in pieces from the 2022 Hobonichi Weeks that I had on hand. I kind of abandoned this one. I was using it for my business planner for this year, 2022, and I sort of abandoned it. Wasn't really using it that much, just maybe for some notes in the back. So I did take out the months and weeks for October. And it's kind of hard to understand if you don't actually see specifically how that's done. But just to give you a slight overview, so these are bound using signatures, and what it is just, and you can't even really see it on camera, but it is groups of pages. Let's say like 4 pages, total of 8 sheets, and they're all grouped together in signatures, and then you take all of those signatures and sew them all together. So basically what you do is you find each specific signature, and you can kind of do that. This is not a tutorial. I just know somebody's gonna ask. You can kind of do that if you pull, let's see if I can find one. Okay, here's one. You can do that if you sort of pull at the pages and you see where it's lifting around here. So I can tell that this grouping of sheets is one signature. So if I just gently pull this entire signature out, you can kind of see where it separates. If I gently pull the entire signature out, I'll just have these few pages together by itself. And then it comes out looking like so. Comes out looking just like this. And this is, so it's 3 sheets together. And then you'll notice it will have the slits in it where the sewn binding was holding everything together. So basically I did that for the October monthly, well, October, November monthly, and because I needed to do that, September came out as well, but I didn't use September. And I in some areas I glued that in. So on this page I glued it in, and then other pages I just tipped it in using tape. So I did that for the monthlies, and I did that for the weeklies. So here, mid-October is where I started. So October 17th, and then I glued in this weekly here, this weekly here. This one's just tipped in so that I could start this planner. Oh, this one's glued in, and you'll see, so this is November 21st. And the 2023 week starts November 28th. So this is when I started this actual book. So this is the English version, and I was taking from the Japanese version from last year. So you can clearly see here where it has sort of a different layout. And you don't have the days in English, or, well, you have English in very tiny letters over here. So you have the English in very tiny letters over here, and then this is the English version where the days are in bigger letters and the format is just slightly different for this version. So that's how I started using this in 2022, even though the book is a 2023. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to be setting up the entire planner. Even though I've already started using it, I still need to set it up and get it looking the way I want to, and get all of my trackers and everything that I have planned out to use for the coming year. And to give you a bit of background, the reason why I felt the need for this year is because I am training for a half marathon. It's going to be my second so far, so I'm going to be training for that. That's going to be in May 2023. So there's some training deadlines. I'm taking it a little more seriously than I did for my last half marathon. So there's some deadlines and dates and everything that I do want to keep track of. And I don't like to keep that stuff in my daily journal just because it kind of confuses me having so many dates for so many things, like all in one calendar layout. So I like to keep them all separate. So I'm tracking that. And then after May, I believe I will probably be doing some other training programs for strength and things like that, but it's highly plausible that I could definitely just abandon this after my race in May. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. But, you know, they never go to waste. I will definitely find another reason to use this Hobonichi Weeks should that happen. And of course, I'll always keep you guys updated. So let's get started from the beginning. Things might look slightly different. I had to switch camera batteries, but I'm back. And I did a lot of this prep work before filming this video, of course, over the past several weeks since I've been in here since mid-October. So I've cut down a few things and spaced out a few things, and I actually used my brainstorming notebook to kind of plot out some of the trackers that I want to use. So we're just going to sit down and we're going to go through it together. But this first part I will set up. I've already put in the little pocket that comes with the Hobonichi Weeks, and I stuck this sticker down that I got from the Spokane plant farm. And had I known that I was going for more of a black and white theme, I probably would not have done that, but it's cool. So I'm going to put these vellums here, and I'm thinking, like, I don't need to tip this in. I don't need it to be like a separate page, I don't believe. This one does need to be tipped in. So I think I'm going to glue this one down and tip this one in with tape. So let me grab that. This is my Tombow adhesive roller. And I'll just go around all of the edges. When I do this kind of gluing in, I don't do it to be perfect, just to kind of get it down. And I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping that everything lays down properly. Now, let me make sure I have these on the right side. I feel like that's the wrong side. So that should be that way. And then I think this should be this way. Honestly, I'm not so sure, but I think that's what it is. I already rounded the corners to kind of help me to know which things go on which side. So we're just gonna go with it. Nope. So hopefully I don't mess this up too much. Alright, that's not too bad. I would have preferred if it came all the way to the edge over here, but it's fine. So this one, I'm going to use some transparent tape to tape that down. And I guess it would have been helpful if I actually had all of my supplies out and ready to go. But then it probably would not have been my video if I was that prepared to start with. So I've been seeing so many cool setup videos for the Hobonichi Weeks since Hobonichi Weeks Day was November 28th. So that's really cool. That's the first day you can use the weeks, or the first dated, you know, the first day that the calendars are dated for. So that would be the time where you start using them, in the first week that you can use them. So I've been watching all of those videos, really like wasting time on social media, but that's what we like to do. And I've gotten some really great inspiration for some of the layouts that I've seen. I will say that I haven't seen a lot of health and like fitness types of layouts though, which I feel like those are kind of lacking, or maybe my search terms just aren't good enough and I just haven't come across some really good videos that might be out there. So if you have any videos that you think would be good, that shows, you know, anybody using and setting up sort of like a health and fitness tracker like this one, or similar, not just like it of course, but similar, I would love to see it and love to share that information down in the comments. So please do leave a comment if you have any. I do know that there is Brittany on Instagram, and she is setting up a weeks to use as her fitness tracker, and I am so intrigued and I really want to see what it's going to look like and how it's going to turn out. I believe she's filming a video for that, so I'm going to link her Instagram as well as her YouTube channel down below. I don't believe she's posted it as of yet, but you can check her out to see the types of things that she likes to track. All right, so this first page has some of the quotes that I personally like. So what I do, I consider myself an aphorist of sorts. So I really like and appreciate quotes, and I collect them. So these are a couple that were in my journal that I felt like really go well, work well with this health and fitness thing that I have going on and meeting those types of goals. So I pulled a few out, and the one that I do want to keep in here is this one by Danielle Laporte. It says, "I only want to hit my targets if the aiming and the hitting feels good." I think that's perfect for what I have envisioned for my health and fitness tracker. And what I'm going to do, I haven't decided if I want to hand letter this or what. Hopefully by the end of the video, I will have decided, and I'll show you in the final flip. But over here on the right side, I use these Sterling ink stickers. Oh, and I should note that this vellum is also from Sterling ink. I purchased these in, it might have been in 2021, so I honestly am not sure if they're still available. But this is like a monochromatic floral vellum, just with blacks and grays, and then there are some corresponding stickers that go along with that. So I put some of the larger stickers. I believe this is just 3. So that's a large one, and then a smaller one here on the Hobonichi intro page. And I think we're going to leave that just like that. And then for this calendar page that I probably, well, I don't think I'll really use it. I really don't think I'll use it. But I wanted to put this planner spot vellum in here somewhere, and I thought this would be a good spot to do that. So I am going to tip that in here. And I thought that I could use dot markers to track certain things on this page, or I could just use this to track the months as they go by. So, you know, cross off a month or do something to cover it up or slash through it or something as the months go by, kind of like a countdown for the races and things that I have coming up. So that's definitely what I could use that side for. And I could totally see myself tipping in or pasting, gluing something else over on this side, because I typically will not use the 2022 calendar or 2024 calendar as it is currently set up here. So let's tip this one in. And I do have a really quick tutorial on how I tip in vellum. And I mean, trust me, I don't do it the greatest, neatest way. So I may not be the one you need to follow. But I do have a really quick tutorial in my recent video where I show setting up my standard size Hobonichi cousin for 2023. And I feel like I am pressing this tape down way too hard. Hopefully I do not rip these pages. So yeah, I don't do this the best, neatest, smoothest way at all. It's a little fumbly. I should probably take better care to do this. But that's just not, you know, it's not how I roll as it relates to my planners. So I'm just going to kind of line that up as the best as I can and stick that in the middle. So if you do want to see a little more detail about how I do that, you can find it in that video. Alright, so that is for the calendar page. Now for this page, I'm thinking what I'm going to do. This is the yearly tracker, and it has, if you're not familiar with Hobonichi Weeks, so it has the full year, January to December, and you have a spot for each day of the month. Let me take that off. These are just my personal notes about what I thought I could use for this area. So what I have settled on is to use up top these spots for measurements. And so every month I will track whatever my measurements are and put the numbers here so I can kind of get a running list of how it changes over the course of the year. And then here I thought it would be interesting just to see the types of workouts I'm doing over the course of the year, and I will color code that based on the type of workout. So I've already written a few things down in pencil, and here's a perfect example of how this does not lay flat. So I've already written out some things in pencil, and I'll go in and erase these notes that I made because I know what they mean. So I am going to color code, and I also thought to maybe use this space to not only color code but track my body weight, but I don't weigh myself daily. It's just not what I'm into. It's just not what I do. So I don't want to feel like I need to weigh myself daily in order to fill in this tracker. But you know, I could still use it for weighing myself. And so when these are color coded, so let's say a certain day is colored for a run workout, I can still write the weight amount over top of that, and you would still kind of get the gist. So I would be able to track those two items on this one spread. But we will see if that works. And I also have planned a larger tracker for these body measurements. So I'm not sure. Oh wait, what is this? Oh yeah. So I'm not sure if that's going to make a ton of sense to track it here and there. I am not the type of person that does double work in my planners. Like, I'm not writing something down here that's going to be in a different, I'm not going to write it down in a different planner. I just don't work that way. So the same holds true if I'm tracking something here. I'm not going to flip to the back and track it someplace else. So I thought that I could also track some kind of daily habit, like a different daily habit for each month, and I would just write the habit that I'm tracking up top here. For instance, let's say I had set a goal of eating at least 100 grams of protein every day in January. So I would write that here. That's the goal. Probably turn it sideways and write that in there. And then for each day that I hit that goal, I would do a check mark or a dot in the month of January. And then there might be a different goal for the month of February. The month of February, maybe I want to make sure I'm drinking at least 3 liters of water a day. So that's another thing I might track for February. I feel like that one would be better for me as opposed to writing the measurements up here. So I basically just talked myself out of that. So you just heard it in real time that I'm going to do it that way. So before we move from this spread though, I am going to write down the colors that I plan to use for the color coding. And I have this written in detail in my daily planner. That's kind of what I do. When I'm brainstorming or thinking through things, I will just write them down someplace else. Alright, so I had planned to use Tombow 026 for signifying my run workouts, and then Tombow 027 for my strength workouts. So I'm gonna write run there, right? Yeah, and then strength workout there, and then Tombow 977. Yes, Tombow 977 to do my cycling workouts. And then Tombow 947 to do Pilates or yoga workouts. So that's what that would be for. And I knew that I wanted this color scheme for this layout, and I specifically chose these colors because I knew that some of them I would use in more than others. For instance, like the Pilates / yoga workouts, it's not gonna happen that often, I don't think, unless, you know, things change by the end of the year. You never know. So I don't anticipate seeing a lot of this color in this spread, but you never know. And I fully know that I could have written these on top of the actual colors or on top of the actual swatches, but I think I'm going to write what those colors are. Not I think, I know, because I know myself and I know that I will forget. So this one's 026, 027, 977, and 947. So that's going to be my color code for the workouts I'm tracking on this yearly spread. And I am definitely going to track a different habit for each month instead of putting my measurements there. That settles it. So I have to think of a good one for the month of January. I'll think of something to start off the year with. Something that's not too hard, but something I can still be held accountable to do. And of course I will have flip throughs of this planner later on or as the year progresses. So this is that September monthly calendar for 2022 that I'm not going to use. And then this was October. I didn't actually use October either. As you can see, it's lifting up. I did glue it, but it's lifting up where the glue didn't attach. So you know what? I'm going to put some tape down there. Somebody who does this is Monique Smith over at Monique Life. I know I've seen her do this, where she takes pages from like an older book pulls the signatures out and just tapes them into a new book. Tapes or glues or whatever. It just gets them into a new book. So I do feel like I kind of messed that up a little bit, but it's fine. It's okay. It's cool. And then these were just little stickies where I was putting down notes of what I thought I would use the spreads for. And another thought that I had for this yearly tracker was to track my daily mileage, but I don't think so. But anyway, I'm going to put that back there just in case I want to come back to it. Alright, so my monthly view as it stands for November. So I just plotted out what my training plan was for the month. And that's what I have listed here. And then I did the same for December and the first week of January. So that's that. Going forward for the monthly views, I'm not sure if I'm still going to do that because, no, actually I probably will. Well, we'll see. Because I'm going to have my training plans in another section of the planner, which we will get to. So that's what I've been using the monthlies for. And all I did was label it with a Tombow. I use these same colors along with, I believe, 992. That might be 992. But the same four, or it's a total of 5 colors, 4 or 5 colors, whatever. And wrote out in cursive or script the name of the month and then just traced it with a black pen. And then here we get into the rest of the months, and I just didn't outline these yet. I may do that when we get to the month or early, who knows, we'll see. So the Hobonichi Weeks for the monthly view goes up to, I think, March of 2024. So because I won't be using those spreads, what I elected to do is that's where I taped in the weeklies for October 2022. So I just covered up those monthlies that I knew I wasn't going to use, and that's why these are glued in. So here you can see the first weekly that I started using on October 17th, and what I was doing was just writing down what my workout was going to be for the day. This was just my plan for when I was going to fit in my training. And then here was just a little weekly reflection, a blurb about how I felt my performance was and how things went. And so as the weeks have gone by, I think this is technically my 8th week doing this. And as the weeks have gone by, I've kind of refined my weekly layout, and I have landed on something that I do appreciate at the moment. This was similar, but I added weekly goals here. Also weekly totals. So my total minutes running and my total mileage for the week. Kept the weekly reflection. The blue ink that you see here were just kind of thoughts for that particular day, or items of note. Like if something was irritating me, if, I don't know, like shin splints or something was going on, that's what I had written in these areas. Okay, and then the next week I did more of a structured layout, and I had my miles over here, workouts here with a little dot so I could check off whether or not they happened. Over here I had a column that I called wins, and I thought I would do like a highlight of the day, but I don't feel like that will fit into my health planner tracker. So you'll see that I switched that over later. But over here we have the focus for the week. So I switched it from calling it goals to focus. And then I was tracking, or I thought I would track things. This was just a test. And then the reflection spot, and then the totals, total minutes and total miles is down there. The following week, same thing. I did add in some wins. So I have like started the week strong on Monday. I actually did an early morning workout on Sunday, which is almost unheard of for me. I kept the focus, reflection, and totals, and then added my little commentary or notes in the Tombow color that I was using for the week. More of the same this week. I think I wasn't feeling well. Something was going on, so I didn't even do much workout at all. And then same for this week, same format. Oh, and you can see Instead of keeping this a wins column, I switched it to a macros column because I am trying to focus on making sure I get more protein and more carbs into my daily diet. So I wanted to track that. I'm not good at tracking macros. It's just not what I do, but I'm trying because I do have some goals that I want to hit for muscle building and making sure I'm eating enough carbs for all of the cardio that I am doing. So this one is a very full spread except for these days for the macros. And in my defense, this is Thanksgiving week, so that's why these days are not filled in at all. But we have the miles, the workouts, focus, oh, and I added this tracker and I called it Target. So I want to track the days that I'm targeting specific areas of the body for strength. So here I have core is one category, then back and buys, chest and tries, and then legs and glutes. So I started the week off well with that, but didn't finish so well. And then in this week, I switched it to just core, upper body, and lower body to track. Oh, this week I was traveling. So yeah, we didn't finish. I didn't do a whole lot of workouts this week. Just like 2 runs and I think 2 strength workouts, and that was it. And I only tracked macros Monday through Wednesday because Wednesday on I was traveling. But this is the weekly format that I have settled on. And then this is the current week. So this is my current week. I did do my workouts for today. So I'll go back and check that off and add in my miles. And I'm really liking this weekly layout for my health and fitness journal. So after all of the weeklies are done, then we get into the notes pages. Oh, and this is just a note for myself. So my half marathon is somewhere around this week. So this was a note to myself about other things I could track going forward from this point. So then yes, after you are done with the weeklies, we get into the notes section. At the notes section, what I decided to do is to cover up this part on the left side because that is some useful abbreviations, but I don't need that. I'm going to use this just as a sticky note dashboard of sorts. So I'm going to glue this down here, and then on this side just a vellum to cover up what's going on over here on the right side, which I will get to in a moment. I don't know why I still have this ruler inside of there. Okay, so I'm going to stick this one down now. And these bows are a freebie from the Planner Spot. So if you are a part of her newsletter, if you are subscribed to her newsletter, there are some freebies that she shares every month. And that bow principle, oh no, my ink is out. I mean, not my ink, my tape. Shoot. Do I have a refill? I think I do, but where in the world is it? Okay, hold please. I really don't feel like digging out my adhesive refill, so I'm going to use this double-sided tape and hope that this works well enough. Alright, so that's that side, and then I will tip this side in using the clear tape. So we have this taped here, and like I said, I'll be using this left side as like a sticky dashboard. For example, just putting a few sticky notes wherever I might need them. I think I'll take these as well and put those back there, so I know I can turn to this section whenever I need a sticky note. So over on the right, getting into the note section, this is the intro for the note section of the Hobonichi Weeks. And up here in the top right, I just have indicated the number of grids going horizontally and the number of grids going vertically, to use that when I need to draw in any kind of trackers or things. So I have this little sticky note telling myself that I'm using these notes pages for collections. So it's going to be a variety of measurement trackers and my training plans. And what I've already set up here is these sections that I intend to use in the notes area. So the sections I'm going to use would be section 1 is for all my training plans, section 2 is going to be for my trackers, and section 3 is going to be for my notes. I imagine that there may be more sections I want to use. Also, I'm the type of person who likes to use all of my sheets of paper in order, so it does cause me a little bit of anxiety to say, well, I'll reserve these 20 pages for training plans, and then if I end up only using 12, I'm going to be stressed out about the fact that there's going to be so many blank pages before the next set of things. So, I mean, it's whatever. I just have to deal with that, obviously. But what I'm going to do is use tabs, kind of like repositionable tabs, and I'm going to make these myself using this. Is this right? No, it goes that way. So I'm using this sticky note tape. This I purchased from JetPens several months ago. I'm not sure if they still have it. If they do, I will mark it down below. But basically what this is tape that's like a sticky note. So it is repositionable. You can move it around, you can take it off, you know, and do with it whatever you please, and you can also write on it. So my idea is to use these and color code the sections for my notes. So this color that I'm using, so the first one for training plan, section 1, is Tombow 026. Yeah, 026. So I'm going to make a little repositionable tab to indicate the start of that section. Not too long. All right, and then I'll use this as a backdrop to color the tab in. And it's slightly neater than the first time when I did it. Not too bad. Alright, so that's my first tab. So that one looks a little bit better. I would say almost a lot better. So this is going to be my section for training plans, which I have printed out. Let me grab those. Alright, so the training plans that I have come from a book I purchased about half marathon training, or running. Actually, not only half marathons. But what I'm going to do, well, I printed them onto Tomoe River paper, and I'm using the same cream colored paper just like the Hobonichi Weeks. And what I'm going to do is cut these down and glue them right into here. So I don't have another refill for my tape runner, so I guess I'll just stick to using this double-sided tape because I really don't want to mess with a glue stick. But in the meantime, while I was cutting down those sheets of paper and looking for my refill, I found this that I printed out, also from the Planner Spot, which was one of the freebies available in her newsletter group. So I'm going to put this as like the front page for my training plan section. And so that's there. And my training plans that I showed you, so I'm just going to tape them all down like this, that side, and then round the corners if I need to, if they overlap at all. So I'll do that for this program as well as this program, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Training plans have been placed, and this is probably the worst I have ever glued anything into a planner in my life, but we're gonna go with it. So I used the double-stick tape or double-sided tape to stick these in. This one just went awry. This side is really crinkly right here in the middle. I'm debating how much this would bother me. I really don't know. We'll see. For now, I'm going to leave it. And normally I am just we'll just leave it and move on type of person. But this one is kind of bad. It really does annoy me greatly. But depending on how much, I may fix that somehow. We'll see. And then right on the back of that, which I'm thinking in hindsight, if I decided to redo this, I probably should have skipped a sheet of paper. But oh well. Right on the back of that, I put in the second training program. This one didn't go as terribly as the first one. This one I did use glue for, so it was a little easier. I assumed double stick tape would have worked. But anyway, so those are the two training programs that I have here. This is just a little section for notes if I want to add anything there. So next I'm going to move on to the section that is trackers. So I'm going to allow, I'm thinking 5 additional spreads in this training plans area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would start my tracker area on this page, which is page 18. And color the edge. Alright, so this is the section where my trackers will go. All of the trackers have been drawn out. I did a little speed through showing you how I was setting them up, but they've all been drawn out, and I must admit that I feel like I'm like a little bit off today for some strange reason. So part of me doesn't even remember exactly what I already talked to you about. It's all the same day. But what I'm going to do now is go through each of the trackers and just put the headers in that I have planned. Also, this is the migraine tracker and the period tracker, so I want to put keys down here because I'm going to have little symbols indicating what I'm putting in each box. Wait, let me do the titles first. So this one on the left is, like I said, the migraine tracker, and just write in the title. I don't even know. Works for me. Okay, so that's the migraine tracker that's going to be on the left, and then I'll do the same thing for the cycle tracker on the right. And then down at the bottom is what I was talking about. So I'm going to put a key, and I'm thinking the way I'll set it up is on the days that I have a migraine, I will highlight. So I'll just do like fill in the box with this Tombow. And then for the days where I just have a headache, and I actually thought this through as I was putting or thinking about what the key was going to be. So I may want to track when I get headaches. I do get headaches, I'm not gonna say often, but almost as often as I get migraines. So I kind of want to see how that's affected or how that works in conjunction with the migraines. I don't know, we'll just look at it. And then the days that I do take a prescription medication for the migraines, I want to indicate by a little asterisk. And then the days that I might take like an over-the-counter medication for a headache, I'll indicate with a line like that. And I think that'll be the general key that I'm going to use. So that's going to be my key for using the tracker. And what I did was up at the top, I have January through December, and then along the sides I have numbered 1 through 31, so that would account for all the days of the year. And then the same is true for the cycle tracker over here on the right. So for the cycle tracker, I guess I don't really need a key necessarily. I guess I'm just going to use a highlighter to indicate which days my period falls. So I don't even need a key for that one. So the next one, this is my, oh yeah, so this is what I'm calling my strength tracker. And this is for, I think I've already explained this, for the compound lifts, so like squats, deadlifts, so forth. And my thought is, which I didn't even write in the months, so I'm going to track what the maximum amount is that I lifted for that specific lift for each month. And then I'll break it down by using a bar graph that's going to kind of show my progression, hopefully progression, right? That it goes up or increases as I continue to increase my strength training. So that's the plan. I feel like if you don't quite, my R is weird, if you don't quite see it filled out, it may not make a lot of sense, but I'll go ahead and finish or continue filling in this first one here. So this first one, I think I'm gonna do squats. So I just put this little highlight here just to, I guess, make it decorative in some kind of way. So that's for squats. And for each month, my intention is to, should I do a J for January or write out, I think I'm gonna write out the whole, like Jan. January. And down in the box, in the lower part of each box, I'll write in what the actual measurement is. And then, like I said, over on the side, I did not put in the values on the left hand side of the graph just because I wasn't sure where I wanted to start. But for something like, for instance, pull-ups, which I'm gonna put pull-ups over here, I'm starting from 0. So I do know that I can start pretty low on the graph there. All right, so for instance, for pull-ups, I guess I could do, like, maybe it just won't be evenly distributed along the graph. Like if I did 1, or maybe I should do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so for, sorry, let me get into frame. So for the pull-ups, it would go by 2s all the way up the graph. So if in January I can do 2 pull-ups, then I would fill in the bar graph just up to that line that indicates for 2 pull-ups, and then maybe by June I get up to 6, and then that's when I would fill in the graph up to the 6th line. So there you get it. So it would just be another visual representation of how my strength is progressing in these main lifts. So those are the 6 main lifts that I want to track using this layout or this spread. So then this next one is for my measurements. And what I didn't realize, and this is how I know I'm definitely off today, I drew out the graph in this direction, but in hindsight, or not even, you know, that far away from me filling it out, I realized I would have preferred for my graph to be this way and it to start from left to right that way. I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed, I don't know, but I drew it in so that it goes this way. So it's not that big of a deal, but I thought that was a little weird. So the way this is going to work, after I fill in the title here, is, so I'm going to have the months going across the top and then whatever body part I'm measuring going down the side. Okay, so those are all of the areas that I will measure over the course of the year. And here I have areas for January, February, so on through December. And so each month I'll just, after I do my measurements, I'll come in here and record what they are, and then that'll enable me to see how they progress over the year. Anyway, that's the extent of all of the trackers I'm setting up for right now. I've just been thinking through all the types of things that I would like to track in this health and fitness journal. So those are the main ideas that I've had so far, and I do want to leave space for other things that I might want to track as the year goes on. So what I did do is separate out 5 additional spreads, but honestly I feel like I don't even need that much. That seems like a lot to me. So that's 1, 2, 3. Let's just do 3 additional spreads. It's really not that big of a deal, but we'll do 3 additional spreads, and then I'll start the note section from here going forward. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tip in this vellum, and this is from the Sterling Ink subscription kit. I don't remember what month, maybe November? Yes, I think it was November. So that's what that's from, and I just cut down a piece that would fit into the Hobonichi Weeks, and I'm gonna tip that in with the same transparent tape that I've been using. And then what I'm gonna do here is make a little tab according to my color code that I had established in the beginning. I feel like I'm making this harder than it has to be. Oh, that's actually not too bad. So I don't know if you can see it, but those are my little tabs that I've created. So this will be the start of my notes section. So let's do one last flip through of the whole health and fitness journal. This is my 2023 health and fitness journal, and I have it housed again in the VDS Codex, and I'm using the milk tea version of the 2023 Hobonichi Weeks. So opening right up, I have this really pretty vellum from Sterling Ink, and then I have the little pocket that comes with the Hobonichi Weeks that I stuck on right there with some extra sticky notes and a little sticker. And I will be putting this quote in here. I think I'm going to print it onto some type of sticker paper in some kind of design and stick it right there. If I do, I think I'm going to show that actually on my Instagram page. So be sure to follow me over there if you want to see what that looks like when I get around to getting that done, which should be this weekend. So opening up, we have the year at a glance. And I just have this tip in from the planner spot. And then this is my yearly tracker where I'll be tracking the workouts that I do throughout the year. And I'm going to color code the days between runs, strength training, cycling, and Pilates/yoga. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is determine some type of health or fitness goal for each month. So there should be 12 that I'll just be going through, or maybe I'll pick like 5 and cycle through them. We'll see how the year progresses. But I'm going to write out what that goal is and then make a check mark or dot or whatever on the days in which I accomplish it. And then we get right into the monthlies, and I'm starting this in, I started this in October but never actually filled out the monthly. But here you can see November. And I do have written out my training plan that I'm using for the end of this year of 2022. So I have November, December, and only the first week of January written in. And as the months get here, I will do the outline around the month headers with my black pen. Just a basic black pen. So those are all of the months that we have outlined there. And then the weekly pages will be used in this way. So I'm going to write out what my workouts are going to be for each day. I'm going to total up my miles that I accomplished each day. And also currently I'm tracking my protein and carbohydrate intake. So that's what this little section is for. And then I have a focus for each week, where I'm trying to focus on maybe hitting a certain number of strength training sessions or a certain number of miles. That's what I'll indicate up here on the upper right. And then I do have a tracker where I'm trying to track and make sure I'm hitting all of my body parts for strength training. Because while I'm focusing on training for a half marathon, that includes a whole lot of running, and it doesn't leave a lot of time for strength training. So I do want to make sure I still, you know, I'm able to maintain muscle and just don't lose any over this time that I'm training with running. And then I have the reflection of how I feel the week went. Maybe some good things, some bad things, who knows, but just how I'm feeling about the entire week. And then on the bottom right, the totals for the mileage that I've run for the week, as well as the number of minutes I've run for the week. So that is going to be my layout for the foreseeable future, at least through my entire training for the half marathon, which is in May of 2023. And then that takes us, after the weeklies, to the notes section. And here I just taped in this printout or printable from the planner spot. On the left hand side, I just printed it on white copy paper, and I'm using this side as my sticky dashboard. And on the right side, I printed it on vellum, and this is just covering up the intro page to my notes, where I have explained what these tabs or these sections are within my notes section. So we have training plans, trackers, and notes. So for the training plans, I have this also from the planner spot that I printed in a size that will be compatible for Hobonichi Weeks. And here is where I glued in the training plans that I printed onto Tomoe River paper. And I did a terrible job gluing these in. And you know, I'm just gonna leave it because it makes me laugh every time I see it. But these are my training plans that I have glued in here. So I have the base training program where I'm building up my running base, so to speak. And then my half marathon training program there. It's a 12-week program that I have committed to, and I plan to start in early February. So I've left a few additional pages just in case I want to add more training plans, if I do like a strength training program after the whole marathon is over, or anything else I determine I might want to do throughout the course of 2023. I have space to add it there. The second section is for my trackers. So in my trackers, I have the migraine tracker on the left and my cycle tracker on the right. These two, migraines and my cycle, do go hand in hand, so I do want to see how they relate to each other on a month-by-month, day-by-day basis. So that's what this is for. And then the next one is my strength tracker, where I'm tracking my progress on the major strength training lifts. So I've got squats, deadlifts, chest press, pull-ups, overhead press, and rows. So I'm going to track the number of pounds lifted. Yeah, it'll be in pounds, not kilograms. And then as that goes on, I'm also going to track it visually on this like sort of bar graph that I have set up to see how the progress tracks over the course of the year. And then the last tracker I have in here is my measurements tracker. So each month I'm going to measure specific areas of my body, and I have, you know, a spot for each month, and I'll be able to see over the course of the year if anything changes or moves and how and all of that. And then the last section that I have currently is just for notes. So any ideas, any plans, any thoughts that I might have that might come up related to my health and fitness journey, I will pop them right back here into the notes section. And I do have additional space and areas if I decide to add more categories or more sections to this area back here in the back. So that's what I would add on these lines, and just pick a different color and create one of those little tabs using the sticky note tape and call it a day. So I'm very pleased with how this has turned out. Like I said, I've been using it since mid-October, so I've been loving it, and it's been working and it's been helping, and it's something I am confident that I'll stick with as I am actively doing these training programs for a specific goal that I have in mind. So I'm pretty sure this video was extremely long, and I thank you so much for watching. I thank you so much for everyone who supports my videos and my channels. Thank you for those who subscribe. Those who don't and still watch my videos, I still greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions or comments about anything I've shown, feel free to leave them down below and I'll get right back to you, and I'll see you in the next one.